Hey, what's going on, everybody? Sammy the Kim here, and I'm back with another one. I appreciate you guys for continuing to tap in. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell notification so you never miss a new video. Okay, so we got Montana State versus Sac State. Game of the week in the FCS. Number 2 versus number 4, I believe it was. Montana State got the best of Sac State. I thought it was a really good game. I thought Sac State had a good chance of beating Montana State, but I think the mistakes for them started to add up. Penalties and inopportune times, turnovers and inopportune times, a few missed opportunities in the passing game by their quarterback. I think to beat this Montana State team, you have to play a nearly perfect game. And, Montana State did have a few turnovers, but I think in Sac State's position, you can't have the turnovers. You can't have the mishaps, the missed throws. You can't have the penalties, the false starts, the pre-snap penalties, all the things that ended up adding up against them and causing them a victory. I thought for a long time they were in this game. I feel like through mid in the third quarter, they still had a really good chance to win this game. But, like I said, the mistakes started adding up, and we're going to look at them through here. So Sac State started off with the ball, and, I think, one thing I will say before we get into this first play, I think Sac State did a really good job of moving the ball against this top-rated Montana State defense. I don't think they had trouble finding the holes in the zone. I don't think they had trouble getting open. I don't think they had trouble moving the ball down the field. Like I said, I just think it was the mistakes that added up against them. We're going to see them here as we break this game down. But, I think Sac State, I think they had an opportunity. They had a good opportunity, and we're going to see it here. But what I just thought about while I was about to start this first play was, they were moving the ball down the field. They were able to get first downs. If you look at the first downs, Montana State had 26 first downs and Sac State had 25. And a lot of people might say, oh, that was empty calories at the end of the game. But I don't really think it was that. I think they were successful in their offense. I think they were able to scheme up a good game plan in order to get open and find holes in this Montana State defense, and they did that. They just weren't able to execute at a high enough level to get the job done. So we're going to start this first drive. Sac State's going to hit this quick little spot concept. You're going to have the running back go out in the flats over here. The tight end most likely probably ran a corner route here, running this spot right underneath, and they hit him for a good gain of like 6 on first down. So you have second down. They're going to get this really long run on this inside zone play, and number 9 turns it into something. That's another thing that I think that Sac State was missing. Number 9 got hurt pretty early in the game. Number 6 did a phenomenal job. Their run game didn't miss a beat, so maybe they didn't miss number 9, but I think number 9 was a crucial part of their offense that they were missing, even though, in the run game they were still fairly successful. You're going to get this long run here, and it's going to get called back for a holding. I think this is one of the first things that started to add up to them on the penalty side of things. If you look at the penalties, Sac State had 9 penalties for 65 yards. Montana State had 3 penalties for 30 yards. So just off that's 35 yards that you're giving Montana State in penalties against the top teams in the countries. Against the good teams, you cannot do that. Sac State was unable to do that. So now they got a 2nd and 14. They're going to try to run it again. They're going to get stopped for a gain of maybe 1. And then you got 3rd and 13. And they're just going to hit their tight end on this little slant / it looks like a slant, maybe like an under. I think it was a slant. Yeah, it looks like a one-step slant. They're going to hit the tight end on this one-step slant. It doesn't really matter. They don't get the first down, and they end up punting the ball away. So Montana State's got the ball now. Montana State's going to get this first down on this concept here. Let's look at the coverage here. This looks to me to be a cover 3 strong. This is 3 cloud strong. So the reason it's 3 cloud strong, look at this safety, or look at this corner here. He's dropping down into this flat. You got a safety pushing over the top of him in this third. You got this safety here playing this middle third, and you have this corner over here pushing back to this third, which gives us the 3 cloud. This is the cloud, and it's the strong side. It's the passing strength of the formation. So 3 cloud strong. The middle of the defense in this type of coverage usually is pretty open if you can get there underneath, and Montana State got underneath. There's virtually nobody there. This guy's kind of in between because he has to, he's playing this guy right here, but he also has another receiver, number 2, coming underneath him. Montana State finds a hole in it and gets the first down. So now you got a 1st and 10 at the 40. and Montana State's going to hit this comeback route up top. I feel like Montana State came out throwing the ball pretty well, you know. Everybody knows that Montana State wants to run the ball ultimately, and they did that. They only threw it 16 times. They ran it 49 times, so they did what they usually do. But you know, for them to come out and hit a few passes, I think it says something about their offense. They're willing to do whatever they have to do. They don't have to do anything else than run the ball because their O-line and their scheme is very good, and they run it really well. You know, the little things, I think Chambers and Malott do a good job of doing the little things, like on handoffs and, you know, with their footwork in their fakes and everything. I think it looks really good, and I think it can confuse a defense, and it's just really good. It's really sound. They're really sound in their technique, and they run their scheme really well. They execute it at a high level, which leads to success. So on here, you got a 1st and 10. One thing that Montana State does that can stress a defense is they're usually getting like 5 or 6 yards on 1st down. Like, and which you have to do that in the way they run their scheme. They're a running team, so in order to run the ball successfully, you want to get good yardage on 1st down, and Montana State does that religiously. They're religiously getting 5 or 6 on 1st down. Here's a 1st down right here. He got 7 on 1st down. I mean, it's nothing extravagant. They're just going a QB. Sorry, let me go back. They're just going QB power here, and it's, you know, it's blocked up well. Their O-line always is probably one of the best in the FCS year in and year out, and you know, they get 7 on 1st down. Just a well-run play and well executed. Another design QB run, and he's getting like 10 yards. I mean, those are the little things that they do well in the run game that are just so hard to stop because of their offensive line and the way they block and the physicality they play with. They're a really hard team to stop. And it's not like they're trying to trick you with scheme. It's not like they're trying to trick you with trick plays or anything. They're just running their offense. They're just, you know, they're going to run it, and they don't believe you can stop it. So I think they do it at a high level. They're going to do this outside zone. They're going to do this, looks like a outside zone play. The only reason I put this play on here because there was like 3 plays on here where number 1 had the ball. I can't remember if number 1 was the one who fumbled on the kickoff return. We'll see later and we'll find out. But number 1 had a couple plays on here where he's trying to do way too much and make way too many things happen. And, you know, sometimes you just have to understand that, like, the ride is over, brother. Like, there's nothing else that you're going to get out of this play. And this is one of those. Like, you stretched it out. They got you. They got you dead to rights. Just go down, brother. He tries to stretch it out, tries to get a little more, and loses more yardage. You know, it didn't end up hurting Montana State too bad, but I just thought that was interesting. Funny enough, I had a tweet that I tweeted out during the game. I said, does number 1 play for Sac State? Because of the things he was doing, you know, running backwards, giving yardage to Sac State, you know, losing yardage for Montana State. And a couple people commented actually and said that he actually used to play for Sac State. So I guess in the transfer portal era, you gotta watch how you speak, because, you know, it might actually be like that. I don't know anything about this kicker, but he had a long day. I'm not gonna say he's a bad kicker. I don't know anything about this guy. He's 6'9", which is absolutely crazy. But, you know, he had a long day. He missed 2 field goals, which is tough for a kicker. He missed 2 back-to-back late in the game. Not late in the game. I think that was like the third, or no, it was actually right before halftime. He missed 2 right before halftime where he kicked one, missed it bad, and then it ended up being a running into the kicker. So he got another try 5 yards closer, and he missed it again. And he's going to miss this 33-yard attempt right here. I just think he had a bad day. You know, it happens for kickers. I'm sure Montana State will keep faith in him. Maybe they won't. We'll find out. But, you know, he had a rough day. So the reason I put that on here is because Montana State drove down the field and they didn't end up getting any points. So it's going to be 0-0. Sac State's got the ball back. So let's see how they proceed with this drive. Going to hit a quick slant for a 1st down. Sac State was able to take advantage of it with these quick slants underneath. And here's one right here where they got about 10 yards. This was a really good drive for Sac State. They were able to move the ball fairly successfully. And like this one right here. This is actually where I think number 9 hurt his ankle. But you're going to get this zone read here. And 43 is going to take the quarterback all the way. So he's going to hand it. Number 9 gets about 12 to 15 out of it, but I think that's where he had hurt his ankle. But that's a good run. They're moving the ball. They're already inside the 30 now. I obviously haven't put every play on here, but they were moving the ball very successfully on their second offensive drive. I think the first offensive drive would have been the same, but they got behind in the chains. One thing that Montana State does not do to themselves. They try to stay ahead in the chains, and they're not really going to hurt themselves. Speaking of which, what I was just talking about right here, this is, so they've had the holding penalty. Sometimes you can't really control holding. Sometimes it just happens in the heat of the game. You feel like you're making a good block and a guy kind of gets away. The ref sees the stretch of the jersey. It is what it is. But here's something that we can control. We can control holding to an extent too. But this is something that we can't have. You can't have in a game, nationally televised game against the top team in our conference, one of the best teams in the nation. You have to make sure you're sound on every facet. Number 62 here is going to false start. I don't really know what for. There's many things going through people's heads, so you never know. I'm not going to speak on tell him he's a bad player or anything, because stuff like that happens all the time. I false started this year with the Stars, so it happens. You got that false start on 2nd and 5. They were ahead in the change, doing good. So now it's 2nd and 10. It's not that it's like something drastic, but it's like that puts you behind in the chains, and you don't want to get behind in the chains when you're playing a good defense. You don't ever want to get behind in the chains, but definitely when you're playing a good defense. There goes that underneath slant once again. Just quick 3-step slant, and he's going to give it to him now, and he's going to push forward for the first down. I think Sac State did a good job of bringing physicality, and it didn't look like they were scared of Montana State. It didn't look like they were out physical by Montana State, maybe on the front 7 in terms of Montana State's offense pushing around Sac State's defense. But for the most part, I thought that Sac State played Montana State fairly well. Like I said, I just think the mistakes added up on them. So you're going to get this man coverage here on this 2nd and 8. I actually think it's a decent play. I don't think the route is the best. I think you'd probably like a more defined stick at the top of this route. He kind of just runs into it. The DB's able to play it very easily. The DB made a good play on it. The safety might have been there to make a play on it as well, but I think the route could use a little bit cleaning up maybe. But, DB made a good play. Safety was right there too. Looks like a slant, like a skinny slant. Maybe it might have been a bang 8. I don't so much know, but it's man coverage, and you're basically just, it's one-on-one, and you're expecting number 5 to win. Number 4 made a good play. It is what it is. So you go 3rd and 8. Sac State is going to run this very elaborate reverse play. So you're going to have number 25. He's going to pre-snap motion over here to the left of the quarterback, and then he's going to orbit back across, and they're going to run this fake. They're going to run this fake here. So when 25 orbits back around, it kind of looks like the setup of an option play with the quarterback at number 25. But you also have this guy at the snap looping back around, going in between the quarterback and the number 25, the running back. So it's a lot of going on pre-snap, post-snap, but this is where you need the eye discipline, and they caught Montana State slipping on their eye discipline. Basically, everybody's expecting this to come this way. You see it this way, and number 84 just slips out. If you just look at all the defenders, they all thought that the quarterback and 25 were going to be doing this option. Nobody expected him to get it, and they just have numbers over here. It's not that, it's not even that, these blocks are super amazing. There's 3 black jerseys over here. If you want to count him, maybe there's 3 black jerseys over here and 2 white jerseys, and 84 looks like he's pretty fast, so he gets in pretty easily for the touchdown. Sac State takes the 7-0 lead. Okay, I put this on here because I wanted to illustrate what I was saying at the beginning, how I think Sac State actually played a decent game defensively, or not so, I can't say so much they played a decent game defensively because they gave up 42, but I think they played a well enough game defensively to win the game. Here's the first instance. It's second quarter, beginning in the second quarter. Montana State's got the ball after Sac State just scored. They're around midfield, and Montana State's going to try to run this stick concept with the tight end and the running back. It's really just a rub, but the tight end, it turns into a rub because of the D end having to peel off to cover the running back. So the tight end's just going to push up and try to run this stick route, but number 4 gets caught up, and you have the running back. It's an incomplete pass, 3rd and 5. Sac State gets off the field. That's huge. Sac State gets the ball back now. And now this is next to that false start and the holding, this is when kind of the mistakes started to kind of pile up and play in Montana State's favor. Sac State's gonna try to run this little, it looks like a hitch to me. I don't know, maybe if it was stop. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not in Sac State's locker room. Obviously, I'm not their offensive coordinator. I've never talked to their offensive coordinator. I don't know anything about their scheme, but it might have been a miscommunication here because it looks like number 5 is stopping on the stop route, expecting the ball on him, and the quarterback Bennett throws it on the outside. Number 4 is reading it all the way. It looks like he's in a zone for sure. It looks like cover 3 to me, but it looks like cover 3, but he's reading the quarterback's eyes. So when he sees the quarterback about to throw, he breaks on the ball and he gets an interception. But if you look, he puts the ball outside. This is number 5. This is number 3. Number 3 is running this stop route at about 6 to 7 yards. I don't know I think Bennett might have expected him to break outside or be further outside. Number 4 makes a really good play on the ball. That cannot be understated. Number 4 makes a really good break on the ball, and he's right there, Johnny on the spot, and it's a touchdown. So that's the first mistake. Sac State was up 7-0 with the ball back. They got to stop on the next offensive or defensive drive. And I felt like they had been moving the ball fairly easily. Minus the picks, the interceptions, I feel like they didn't really get stopped too much offensively. I think it was just penalties and mistakes by interceptions and turnovers that really hurt them. They did end up having 2 interceptions or 2 turnovers, and Sac State, Montana State also had 2 turnovers, but I feel like it's the way the turnovers happen. Like, for instance, later in the game, they're gonna get an interception, but the next play they turn the ball right over. So it's like, does that interception even count for Montana State? Obviously, it counts for Montana State, but it doesn't really hurt them in any way because they got the ball right back. We'll go over that when we get to it. That was the running back dealing with his ankle. I don't think he ended up coming back in the game later on in the game, but that was that right there. But you're going to get this slant again. Like I said, Sac State was fairly successful in this play all night. Montana State's in this zone, and 16's just going to find the soft spot in the zone. I think he's a really good player. 16 found the soft spot in the zone for some good yardage. A run play. I didn't get the whole play, but they look like they're trying to hit this screen at the bottom as a possible RPO if they don't like the run. But you're getting this read here. Number 98 chooses the quarterback, and number 6 going to run for like 15, close to 20 yards. So like I said, they're finding ways to be able to move the ball. They're not having trouble getting the ball down the field. I think they're fairly successful moving the ball. And yeah, they were able to execute fairly well. This, to me, is one of the first missed throws that I felt like Bennett had, or not even a missed throw. This actually isn't a missed throw. I feel like this was a really good throw. I feel like this isn't the best route by number 16. If you watch the play out, this is number 16 is going to run a corner route here. He's going to end up on the linebacker, which is a good matchup for number 16. I feel like if you have a linebacker on this tight end, he's going to win every time. It looks like Montana State gets in a type of, it looks like this corner's playing cloud, and it looks like this corner's playing cloud, and you got the 2 high safeties up here. You can't see them, but there were 2 high safeties up here. I think they were running a cover 2, which is good for a corner route if you're going to run a corner route type scheme. Looks like they ran some type of smash concept here. No, this is just a spot. This is the same spot concept they had ran in the first quarter. So that spot concept that they had ran in the first quarter where they hit number 5, actually the first play of the game, this is that exact play. But this time he's going to read it to the tight end. The tight end's going to get open, and I feel like on this route you have to take this over the top. You have to break this high. You'll get a better angle at it from the other angle, but if you see the ball, honestly, is just right out of reach. But also, I know we're always taught you want to take this high. His angle looks like he's going flat here, but Bennett is throwing the ball over the top. And he literally, look, number 16 has to adjust his angle. You see it right here. He's taking it flat. Bennett throws it high. Even though he's getting hit, I think it was a really good ball under pressure. And he has to adjust his angle, and it's literally just off. This would have been a touchdown. This would have been a for sure touchdown, I feel like. That is one of the missed opportunities I feel like they had. Just a miscommunication between the receiver / tight end and quarterback. I feel like Bennett had put a good ball out there. You just want to take that angle angle higher. You know, you want to aim for the pylon on corner routes. That's what you're always taught. Aim for the pylon. Let the quarterback or the ball bring you down. Or if the coverage dictates and the quarterback notices as well, that's another way that you can adjust it. But you always want it to come from the quarterback. You set your angle and have the quarterback put the ball where he feels the ball should be. So, not bashing number 16 at all. I think he's a really good player, but I think if he could have that back, he would have taken that angle high, and I think he has a walk-in touchdown. So you have that missed opportunity right there on the touchdown. Next play, you have an opportunity to go up 10-7 by 3. It's not big, but there's hidden points and hidden yardage all throughout this game. This is one of them. You're gonna have your kicker come attempt a 43-yard attempt, and he's gonna miss. So we have that right there. Let's go back to the start of the game. You had the holding penalty that halted their first drive, put them behind in the chains. You had the pick six that put Montana State on the board. And then you have the missed throw and the missed field goal. So essentially, if you really look at it, that's not how football works. The score is 7-7, but Sac State could essentially be up 10-0 midway through the second quarter. They're not. There's some missed opportunities in there, some messed up plays, and it is what it is. We move on. Montana State's got the ball back, and this is kind of when they started to really push Sac State around and run the ball on them. And one thing I noticed, and one thing I didn't notice, somebody on Twitter noticed it, and they asked me about it. Sac State, if you see Sac State here, they're not up on the line of scrimmage. I would be very interested to know why they're doing this. I don't know why they're doing this. I don't know if they're trying to get a better start against Montana State's offensive line. I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I actually don't know. But they're like a yard off of the line of scrimmage. And I don't think that works out well for you when you're playing against a Montana State team that is really good at running the ball. Giving them a yard already of giving them a yard of advantage to get off the ball and to be able to engage their blocks. I don't know. I don't know the coaching points, so I'm not even going to speak on it anymore. But it's definitely an interesting thing that I saw. Somebody saw it, and I noticed once they saw it. You're going to get this read. He's definitely reading number 40. 40's the read. He crashes, and Tommy pulls it. And, you know, I think that's one thing I think they're really good at. I think Tommy and the running back, Tommy Chambers and the running backs for Montana State are really good at the mesh point. You know, you never know where he's going until you actually know where he's going. Mesh, and then he pulls it. And 40 has no idea. Tommy's around the edge, and he's going to get like 20 yards on first down. Great run. This, like I said, is the drive where I feel like Montana State kind of started to get their feet underneath them in the run game. Offensively, really, I think they really started to get their feet underneath them. But, you know, they started pushing guys around. I mean, just look at this line of scrimmage. First off, you get the yard difference by Sac State and Montana State's O-line and D-line. But just look at the push they get up front. This is 3rd and 2, and he gets it fairly easily. 2nd and 2 now. I thought this was a really good throw. I don't know if this is a really good route. He's going to run a corner route here. We'll see it better, way better at the other angle. But he's going to run a corner route here, and I think Chambers put an amazing ball on him because you have the coverage outside. You know that. You have the underneath coverage, but you also have a corner underneath too. So you don't want to lead him too far outside. You don't want to lead him too far this way away from the safety. You know, you have to put a really good ball on him, and he did exactly that. We'll see the end zone view, and it's much better. Watch the corner route here. You see him run the corner route, and Chambers, I think, puts a really good ball on. Little boot. Looks like Montana State's running like a cover 3. Looks definitely like a cover 3. You got the one high safety. There's another corner over there, and then this corner's in this third over here. I mean, from a schematic standpoint, besides man, I feel like Sac State really has this zone covered up. Looks like the corner's kind of lost, but I don't know. It's a good ball. It's a really good ball and a good play. 6 almost dropped it close there, but I think that was a really good play, really good drive by Montana State. They really got their bearings underneath them and were able to move the ball fairly easily. So you're gonna get this inside run. Looks like a power. You got the guard pulling, and I feel like this run is really blocked up really well. They get 10 on first down. Easy run play. Good blocks. 25 makes the guy miss, and they got 12 on first down. Okay, so this is right before halftime, and Sac State's going to get another false start. You're going to watch the center here. He's going to move the ball ever so slightly before the snap, and this is just another, it's 1st and 10. It puts you behind in the chains, and it just adds up. The hidden yardage adds up everywhere, and this is hidden yardage. You're 1st and 10. You're putting together a good drive. It can, Sac State was running kind of like, I don't know if it's just their regular offense, but they move with a good amount of tempo. They did it the whole game, so it tells me that it leads me to believe that it's probably just their offense. But they move with a good tempo, and when you get pre-snap penalties with a team that runs tempo, it can throw that tempo off. It can throw the momentum off, because if you have the defense back on their heels, it gives them a second to catch their breath. It gives them a second to get their defense set, all of that stuff. So, I think this is something that hurt him. Watch him right here. He just flinches it barely. A lot of times when things like this happen, the defense is the first to point it out. The defense didn't even really react to it, and the ref saw it though. 1st and 15. Okay, this is where I feel like Sac State had made another mistake. I feel like Bennett, if he could have this throw back, he would want this throw back. You're going to get this post route by the receiver here at the top, and he's going to get open. Bennett's going to put the ball out there, and it's just going to be a little long, but this is a missed opportunity. You had the missed opportunity on the corner route, the last drive, the last time they had the ball, and you got the missed opportunity on the post route here. He's going to get open, and it's going to be a good opportunity, but they just can't connect on it. Sails it a little long over his head, and it's just tough. We had a better view at it over here, but he's got the post. He's got him open. He won, and he just can't connect. Just tough. And you can see he knew it right there. He knew. That's tough. So they don't end up getting any points on that drive, and they ended up punting it away to Montana State, and Montana State starts driving the ball down the field. 14-7 with 15 seconds left in the half, and Montana State's going to hit 26 on this quick slant route, I believe it is. Not a slant, looks like an under. Under/over. I'm going to call it an over because it's a little deep for an under. They hit him on this over route right across the middle, and he puts them in prime field goal position. And this is what I was talking about with this kicker. I'm definitely not trying to bash this kicker. This guy just had a bad day, just a long day for him, and he's going to miss this kick wide, but he's going to get a blessing. So he misses wide, but if you watch this guy on the edge here, this guy's going to dive at his legs. He's going to kind of stumble, but he dives at his legs and runs into his legs. 5-yard penalty. Not a first down, but a 5-yard penalty, and Montana State, or it is a first down, but it didn't matter because they were kicking the field goal anyway. So he gets another opportunity. That first one was at 50 yards, and he gets another opportunity at 45 yards, and he's just going to miss again, wide right again. Fairly far off, not particularly close, and that guy just had a long day. It's just tough. So Montana State gets the ball to start the half, and they do exactly what they finished doing in the first half, driving the ball down the field, running the ball. Just going to get this quarterback run right up the middle, and he doesn't even get touched until he's like 3 or 4 yards past the line of scrimmage. Really good blocks up front, really moving the Sac State defensive line. Look at that hole just open up. I mean, what ball carrier wouldn't want to run through that? You got push up front. This lineman's falling, but he might have got that block, and it might have been a bigger run if that lineman didn't fall. Who knows? He's working up to that second level, but his foot got caught. So whatever. They got like 10 yards on this play, maybe more. They were running the ball fairly effectively. Man, this penalty hurts, and I can't even say that it's not a bad call. It's the right call. He PIs him all the way. They might have called holding or PI. I think they might have called PI, but he just trips the guy. It's just not a smart play. I mean, he was beat, so honestly, it probably is a smarter play to get that than a potential touchdown because he doesn't have anybody over the top of him. But he's riding his shoulder the whole way down the field, and it's the correct call. But that was a third down play, 3rd and 9, where Sac State had the opportunity to get off the field. They obviously didn't. They ended up getting the penalty, but it hurts them, man. It hurts. Plays all over the place just hurt you. end up hurting you in the long run. Okay, this is 12 minutes in the third quarter, fairly still early on in the second half. Montana State's driving the ball fairly well, and they're going to try to get a little too cute. They're going to try to do this reverse. They're going to try to run this, make it look like they're running like this outside zone stretch play. Chambers here is at receiver. He's going to loop back around. First off, I would have, as a defense, I would be thinking something's coming, and Sac State probably did think something was coming because you have Chambers at receiver. You know, I don't know how many plays. I haven't watched a ton of Montana State this year, so I don't know how many plays they have Tommy and Chambers in at the same time. I don't know how well Chambers, like, I don't know if they play him at receiver. I don't know. But I would be thinking something was up if I was the defensive player. You know, why is their quarterback at receiver? Whatever. He's at receiver. They're going to try to run this not double pass, I guess, because there was only one pass, but they're going to try to run this reverse pass. Tommy's leaking out up the field. I think he just has to throw this away because given where this corner is, like, that ball was never going to be completed. He's playing it all the way. He's got eyes on him, and it's an interception. Great play by Sac State. An opportunity, you know, they're down 14-7. You know, they've missed a few plays. They've had a few penalties that have cost them, and this is their opportunity to get back into the game and tie it up. And it's just an opportunity. It's just a great play. Interception, everything. So you got this RPO here. They're going to run those slants again, and, you know, it's a little tighter catch than you probably would like as a receiver. The ball, you know, he let him inside, but I think these DBs had seen this so much throughout the course of this game. Montana State's running a cover 3. You see him bailing. They got one high safety up here. This guy's really playing his zone, but he's reading the quarterback's eyes for this RPO. He reads it, sees the break, sees number 26 about to make the catch, and he gets the PBU, and or not, well, 26 on Sac State, 26 on Montana State ends up getting the interception. Just a tough turn of events for Sac State. They just got an interception. They just got the ball back, and they give it right back to Montana State. These are just mistakes that you cannot make against Montana State. They're mistakes that will lose you the game. And unfortunately for Sac State, they are some of the mistakes that ended up losing them the game. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about with the great mesh point and just their technique and scheme on this. So I feel like number 4 played this fairly well. I don't think he declared too hard on the running back. You know, he did take one step inside. That's probably the false step that hurt him and got him out leverage. You know, Tommy's a really quick guy. If you take one false step, if you hesitate for a second, he's gonna get around that edge on you. And, you know, good mesh point. Look at that. Good mesh point. Makes number 4 declare. Makes number 4 decide. But I think number 4 plays this fairly well. I just think Tommy Malotte's a better athlete. Got around the edge on him and turned it into a gain of about 10 yards. Now they're in the red zone. Mind you, this is right after that interception that Sac State just threw, after they got an interception on Montana State. And another one. Look at that. Just very good mesh point. Makes number 99 declare. Don't leave it up for discussion. You know, they run these reads very well. They run these reads very successfully. And he holds it. Number 99 takes a step, and you're wrong. I don't think number 99 could catch Tommy even if he hadn't chosen wrong, but Tommy gets around the edge and touchdown Montana State. Tough. So now Sac State's looking at a 21-7 deficit. I don't think they, even after they got down, I don't think they struggled moving the ball. I think they were still very successful running their offense, but, you know, it's a hard hole to dig out of when you're playing the number 2 team in the country, especially a team that runs the ball, especially a team that's going to control the time of possession, a team that's not going to give you many possessions. It's tough to come back from that. But Sac State does a great job of bouncing back right after that. You're going to get this read here. 10 chooses the quarterback again. He's pushing upfield. You got this read with the RPO bubble on the outside. Blocked up decently well, but you got an extra hat kind of leaning that way, so you're probably not going to throw that. So you're onto this read. You're reading this end, and he chooses the quarterback, and 25 makes a great play. This is a great run. Great run. The spin move, the finish, all of it. Just awesome. Let's watch it again. 10 decides, 25 go make a play. spin move, missed tackle, spin move, and it's off to the races. Touchdown. Okay, Sac State really had a chain of events. Sac State, I said what I said about Sac State because I truly do feel like they had a great opportunity to win this game. It's 21-14 with 8 minutes left in the third quarter. Sac State has made a litany of mistakes. They've missed a few passes. They've thrown a pick six that gave Montana State 7 points. They've made mistakes, but they're still in the game. And, this is when I felt like the momentum started to turn Sac State's way, albeit probably a questionable call. Definitely a questionable call. Definitely should have went to, I think it did go to review and they kept it stands. I don't so much know if this was a fumble, but Montana State got the ball back, or Sac State's going to get the ball back. The only reason I'd say it's a fumble is because it looks like the ball's already loose when he's going to the ground. His butt's not on the ground yet, and the ball's loose. They fumble. Sac State recovers it. You're going to get another angle at it from this end zone angle, or maybe, I don't know if I put that on there. No, it's just a slower angle right here, but just like I was just showing you, the ball's already loose. So that's probably why the call stood. A lot of people thought that, it probably wasn't a fumble. It actually should have just stood with Montana State ball. Whatever it is, the case is, Sac State got the ball back after just scoring a 50-plus yard touchdown, and they get the ball back on their own, inside their own 25. Great opportunity for them to get a touchdown. Great opportunity for them to put some points on the board. You're going to get this fade route. They got in prime position. This might be a questionable call to some, but I do believe this was PI. You're going to get another angle at it, but one's not looking at the ball. One's got his hands on number 5. You got to throw that flag if you're, maybe I'm biased because I'm a receiver, but I feel like you got to throw this flag if you're a ref. Look at him. He's got his hands all over and he's trying to look back for the ball, but he's also impeding number 5 from making a play on the ball. He's holding his right arm down. That's a PI. You got to make that call. Man coverage by Sac State. Man coverage by Montana State. Sac State tried to take advantage of it, run that inside fade, and it put them. They had a couple more plays, and it put them in red zone territory. That was probably a 15-yard penalty, since it's not a spot foul in college. But here's another mistake by Sac State. You're gonna get this false start by the guard. I think that's number 62 right here. He's going to false start again. Mind you, he false started on the first or second drive. I think it was their second offensive drive. He false started on Sac State's second offensive drive. And he's going to false start here again. Just critical mistakes, especially in the red zone, especially after you got gifted a turnover on a special teams play. You get the ball back after scoring. You're in the red zone. You want to get a touchdown here. You don't want to get 3. Montana State's not getting 3. They're getting 7 every time they get in the red zone. So you want to match that. I think they have the ability to. I just think some of the mistakes added up for them. That was just a penalty that I wanted to point out. They still had an opportunity to score. They were unable to. Montana State's defense stood up, stopped them. I think this might have been a touchdown. They're going to run this toss play, and I think it's blocked up fairly well. I think he might have got in had he made a clean catch of the ball, but he doesn't. He fumbles it around. You got these pullers in here pulling, getting blocks. I think it's blocked up fairly well. You got him. I feel like the only reason number 10 is out there like that, harder for the tight end to block it, is because the ball was kind of fumbled around. You got this guard in here about to get a block on a backer. I think it would have been a fairly successful play. Maybe that tight end might not have got that block. Maybe, he kind of lost his footing. It's tough. So maybe he wouldn't have scored. But this is just another mistake. 3rd and goal inside the red zone. They try to draw something up, probably something they've been practicing for a long time, and they aren't able to capitalize on it. Which is tough. It's tough. It's hard to beat good teams when you shoot yourself in the foot. It's hard enough to beat these teams when you don't shoot yourself in the foot, but when you do shoot yourself in the foot, it's hard to come back from. And I think Sac State faced that this week. So here's another play by number 1 where I was just wondering, first off, I don't remember if number 1 was the guy who fumbled. I think he was the guy who fumbled on the last possession. But if you just fumbled, why are you carrying the ball like this? Maybe it's because it's your former team, so you feel comfortable. This is just not smart. First off, he's trying to do way too much. I never kick returned in college, so, I'm talking from a limited amount of knowledge on what it looks like out there. But I do know he's doing way too much. Just go down, brother. The play is dead. It's all good. You did what you could. So I didn't touch on this from the last play. Sac State ended up getting a first down. Sac State ended up getting a field goal. So it's 21-17 with under a minute left in the third quarter. And Montana State drove the ball down the field fairly easily. They ate a good bit of clock off, but just running the ball, running their offense, and they got into green zone, money zone, close to red zone territory fairly easily, and now they're in the red zone. End of the quarter, and you're gonna get another good mesh read right here, another good read on this. I think one thing that helped Montana State on this run play right here, on this read by Tommy and the running back, I think because they were so jumbled up pre-snap, they weren't able to properly play this. You have no edge defender out here, and he's gonna show up late, but I think by the time he shows up, it's too late by the time the edge defender shows up, it's too late. He hesitates inside. If this is the edge defender, he hesitates inside, and Tommy's already gone at that point. You're out leveraged, and it's a touchdown. Like, look, he's in here. Unless this D lineman was the edge defender, you got the edge defender right there. He bites hard, and you're out leveraged. Tommy's gonna score. Man, this is when it just started piling up on Sac State. They've had a lot of missed opportunities, and Montana State has capitalized on those, and this is what you're seeing. It's 28-17 with about 12 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter. Okay, so it's 12 and a half minutes left in the fourth quarter, 28-17. Montana State's been driving. We're just going to let this play out, and then we're going to talk about what happened afterward. You might already know, you might notice it pre-snap, but they're going to put the ball up. Number 8 makes a great play, and he's going to score. But you notice there's a flag. There's a flag. What happened? Pre-snap. Let's go back. Watch pre-snap. Watch right before the ball snap. They're not set. These guys aren't set, but Bennett is about to snap the ball. They ended up calling too many guys in motion or illegal formation or one of those calls, but it ended up hurting them because they ended up scoring on this play. It was a great ball, great catch by number 8, touchdown. That would have made it 24-28. Like, that keeps them in the game with still 12 minutes left in the game. Like, they're right there in business. They just got to get a stop defensively. It just sucks. This penalty hurts. And this is where I feel like some of that tempo might have caught up to them. Like I said, I don't know if that's the regular offense that they run tempo, but they're trying to get the call, and he's just a little late off the ball. He's just a little late lining up. Great catch, great ball by Bennett, and they score, but it just sucks. Just tough. That is so tough. I hate to see that, and I was so disappointed to see that because I thought it was an amazing play, but that's tough. Things like that are tough to bounce back from. But you got Bennett. He can run the ball. He can throw. I think he's a really good player, and he's gonna make things happen on 4th and 5. They started going for it. I get why they did this. They started going for it on 4th down fairly early on in the fourth quarter. And I know they did that because, one, they're down by 11 and it's in the fourth quarter. But you're playing against Montana State. You're playing against a team that can control the line of scrimmage. They can control the ball. They can eat a lot of clock away if they want to. And, Sac State was aware of this as well. So they took matters into their own hands and just started going for it. I don't know if this was a design QB run. It looks like their receivers are all running routes. I think this is just recognition by Bennett where, he's like, I'm just going to make it happen myself. And he does exactly that. Gets about 20, 25 yards there. Great play by him to keep the drive going on 4th and 5. Good run. Good inside run. This looks like a read as well. He ended up giving it. You got the bubble on the outside. Looks like they got numbers, but he probably just decided to hand it off. You got this bubble. You got 2-on-2 with an extra for the catch. Probably didn't like it. It's whatever. They ended up getting like 11 on first down, 10 or 11 on first down. Great run. They're in the red zone. They're in business. Another run and touchdown. Just a good, well put together drive. Well put together drive by Sac State. Got this read. I don't know. I feel like this is something that Montana State had coached their players on, is like, don't worry about the running back. Take Bennett every time, because if you notice on these reads, the DNs aren't even worried about the running back. They're running at Bennett full speed every time. I guess they're trying to take the ball. They're trying to do their best to take the ball out of his hands, because as you guys just saw earlier in this drive, he had like a 25 yard run on I don't even know if it was a design QB run. It might have just been something, but clearly that's something that he has in his game and that he's very good at. Obviously, I haven't watched a ton of Sac State games this year, but clearly that's something he's very good at, very successful at. So Montana State took him out of the game by just running straight at him. We're just going to hand it off, and they end up getting a touchdown on it. This is blocked up pretty well, but I also believe number 25 made things happen. 25 ended up, 25 played a good game. They lost number 9 early on in the game. Number 6 ended up getting hurt in the game, and 25 came in, and obviously, he played a really good game. 2 touchdowns, a long 50-plus yard touchdown run. This touchdown right here, just a great play. Great way to fight and get in the end zone. Great way to make it happen, and, he did his thing. All right, now, 9.5 minutes left in the game, 28-24. Montana State's winning, and this was the play of the game for me. I think this running back's name is Julian something. I'm not sure. Number 32. We'll call him number 32, but this is awesome. Look at this hurdle. Clears the guy and runs it down into red zone territory. Just awesome. Just an awesome hurdle. You do not see this every day. I might have saw a picture online that maybe he's done this already this year. I don't know, but just a great play. Great play. And then a couple plays later, they run it right in the end zone, fairly easily. That's tough for Sac State. I feel like they've been successful offensively. There's been a few missed opportunities. There's been a few missed plays here, but they've been fairly successful offensively. They're going to go for this 4th and 7. It's 35-24 with about 7.5 minutes left in the game. They go for this 4th and 7, and they're going to be unsuccessful. They try to hit the tight end on this under route, but I don't know if this was his read. I don't know if he had just eyed this down, but number 16 wasn't even at the first down when he, where he would have caught this at. He wouldn't have had the opportunity to get the first down. So maybe it was a stick route. Maybe he was running to the sticks and he just came back, trying to come back to the ball. It brought him back underneath the sticks, but tough play for Sac State. Tough out for them. Great play for Montana State. They get a stop and they get the ball in Sac State territory. This is when things started piling up. As you see down here, Montana State at this point has 300 rushing yards. They were running the ball really successfully. It didn't even feel like they were running it that well. Obviously, they were getting like 10, 15 on first down, but I didn't think they had run 300 yards. I didn't think they had 300 yards of rushing. I thought maybe 200, 250. I obviously knew they had been running the ball well, but that's what they do. And this is when they start to impose their will. Great push up front. Moving guys out the way. Look at this block by number 65. Moving guys out the way. Number 3 does the rest. And he's just going to make a statement at the goal line. I mean, that's a one-on-one tackle. You can kind of count number 21, but you versus the running back. And simple. This is when you could tell Sac State had kind of got beat down at the end. And, maybe they were trying to get out of there. I don't know. I'm not in the locker room, but from a fan standpoint, it looked like they had kind of got beat down and they were just kind of ready to get out of there. So I would say probably towards the end of the fourth quarter is probably when the physicality had wore down Sac State at that point. After that Montana State touchdown, Sac State ended up putting on a drive and getting in the end zone, making it 42-30. They went for 2. They did not get it, so the ending score was 42-30. They put a good drive together, but essentially the game was over after that last Montana State touchdown. Like I said, I showed you guys in here where I think Sac State had made the mistakes, where I think that they had opportunities to keep the game tight, where I think they had opportunities to even win the game or keep themselves in the game to give themselves an opportunity to win the game. That didn't happen. That's just how it goes sometimes in football. You got to capitalize when you get the opportunities, and they did. They weren't able to today. Montana State stays undefeated undefeated in FCS play. Montana State stays undefeated in Big Sky Conference play. They have Idaho next, which is a big ranked matchup for them. Sac State, I don't know exactly who Sac State has, but you know, all these Big Sky teams, everybody's the good thing about the Big Sky this year is all the good teams have to play each other. So Idaho's going to play Montana State, Sac State. Sac State's going to play Montana State, as we saw right here in Idaho, and Montana's going to play Montana State, Idaho, and Sac State. So everybody's going to be happy at the end of the day. We'll get to see who the real dog is of the Big Sky Conference. I'm excited to find out as well. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, like for me, leave a comment, tell me what you guys would like me to break down next, and I'll see you guys next time.